feeling great. I mean, the car's been on rails all weekend, and but also knowing going into Q3, having topped as a team every single session, it kind of means nothing because the track's changing so much every single lap, and I knew that very last lap in Q3 is going to be the one. So it doesn't matter what happened before. You got to make that last lap count, and we absolutely did. So really, really pleased.
It must have been a good lap, to get within a tenth of George and that Mercedes that they've been clearly dominating all weekend, and get within a tenth, having a healthy margin behind. I think must have been a good lap. At the same time, it puts us in a good position, for tomorrow to try and go for the win. Everything open, too many variables to predict what's going to happen tomorrow, but at least we put ourselves in the best position to go for it.
It is incredible, I must say. We would have never imagined to be fighting for the top three. I felt good in the car all weekend. Going into quali, we knew Q3 was on the table. Tried to build it up through Q1, Q2. Going to that Q3 with only one set of new tires, so we're fighting with the Haas and AlphaTauri. And yeah, on that last lap, I must have really managed to nail it. It's low grip, a lot of sliding, playing with the walls was like, a couple of very fine margins, but crossing the line, I knew, okay, I've put on a special lap.
The pace is there. I'm very fast after 3 laps, but in qualifying, you cannot afford to do that. And Carlos has been much better than me since FP1 in putting the tires in the right window for the first lap, which, and he's done a better job in qualifying doing that. I really tried my best to try and improve, but for whatever reason, and I don't have the explanation for now, but in Q3 my last run was a nightmare. The fronts were ice cold and I had like a crazy understeer all around through the laps. So it was a bit strange. We'll look into the data. I don't think I've done anything weird, but the grip was not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit too slow. We have been struggling to get the tires to work over a lap, and we are too slow on the straights as well, especially in qualifying. Well, you can see our rear wing, it's trimmed down quite a lot, but of course around the DRS flap, so when we open DRS, of course we don't get the gains like others do, and that makes it of course a bit more complicated around here. But that's our own fault, we know that's a compromise that we have.
A clean lap was just too difficult. You're trying to find lap time, but at the same time, as soon as you try a little bit too much, you have another issue, and it's an issue that you've not had before. So it's just too difficult. It's too challenging to drive, and there were some laps in practice where maybe when you're driving at 99%, it just floats around, and you're like, "Oh, it was a good lap." But the chances of doing that every time were just too slim today, and I don't know why we expected to do a bit better than we did, but it just proved a bit too much of a challenge.
I think it was good for all of us to kind of having this kind of situation that we started pretty rough in the P1 and started P19, P20, and session by session we're able to improve. And we turn it around the race week throughout, and I think this kind of race week, not much teams can have it. So even for the future, even we face similar situation, we have kind of prove that we done it in the past, so we have good confidence to actually make it work.
It was tricky. I felt like in Q1 and Q2 we were in reasonable shape, and then Q3 we just didn't really have much. So a bit disappointing. My lap didn't feel amazing, but it was never going to get close to pole. So bit of homework to do on why we've struggled a bit, but. It's going to be an interesting race tomorrow. I think there's quite a few quick cars towards the front, and tyres have been kind of the talk of the day. So let's see what happens tomorrow.
Around this track, you always think there could have been a bit more here, a bit more there, but it's tough, because with the low grip feeling, you try sometimes a bit more and you massively overstep and lose it. So it's a very fine line and window here. I'm sure it's challenging for everyone. So. No, all in all, I think a decent quali, but obviously I would have liked to be a little bit further ahead. I mean, P6 is only, I think, half a tenth or something away, so that would have been better and made me happier. But we'll try and race well tomorrow. I think we have a good race car, and I'm optimistic.
Didn't work when it mattered, but I tried. Didn't come off. Should have been on pole, but at least I got pace, which is a good showing over the weekend. That's the positive to take from it.
Difficult weekend, since Austin really we seem to miss half a second or more really with the car pace, and there is clear lack of grip with my car, and we are not managing yet to find exactly the cause of it and rectify the issue. So I was really happy with the lap. Looking at where we should have been, it felt like it was a good Q3 lap, like I've done in the past.
It was some decent laps there. It just didn't seem like we had the pace of the practice sessions, and a bit of a question mark there. I expected us to be, best of the rest kind of thing, and suddenly I was behind Nico, behind a few of the other cars, and not really sure why that was.
Yeah, really happy with the car. Happy with the package we brought out. Like I said yesterday, I wasn't happy with the balance. This morning I wasn't happy, and also we didn't do the second soft due to the red flag. So not a lot prepared, but the car was good, and did good laps, and really happy. Of course, it's been a while for me. Not just into Q2, I think in this position, I haven't really had a very good qualify throughout the season, struggling with one lap, and a track are probably not my favorite tracks in terms of my driving style, but we'll make it work. So
yeah, we were struggling over the lap to that point anyway. I was honestly barely improving on a used tyre lap, so I'm not sure why. We just had really low grip. I was sliding around a lot, and then towards the end of the lap there, I had a really big slide in turn 14 and lost the rear, and don't really know why, but obviously that's what we'll try and figure out now.
Yeah, it was mainly the whole weekend. I've been struggling quite a lot with the grip. Just really difficult to put the lap together with the amount of sliding and with the tires.
Tough, but no surprise. I think we've been struggling the last 4 or 5 months, with the performance of the car, and sometimes we manage to make some progress in Q1, sometimes we don't. Today, unfortunately, we didn't. So. Tough race in front of us. We are 17th and 20th, and we want to improve. But I think this year is unlikely. Only 3 races left. The car will be the same. So, our main focus is into next year, unfortunately. And this year, we have to accept that there's going to be some pain in the last 2 races.
We came out the pace at a very awkward time. There was a lot of cars in front of us doing cool-down laps, and we have to do a really quick out lap to get the tyres to work. I started my lap, and then within the first 3 corners I was 6-7 tenths down on my previous lap. So it was over from the beginning.
I think we've seen some promising sessions this weekend, so I was definitely hoping more, and it was just a messy session. In the end of the Q1 when the track is the best, I had one messy lap, and then the second lap I had traffic, so just didn't quite get it right today, but it happens sometimes.
I think it's going to be a tough day for us tomorrow. We've been hard on tires all year, and tomorrow it's going to be all about tire deg and graining, and I don't think that's our strength, so we'll see.